Well, obviously, America's universities, first and foremost, converted to completely online education. They shut down their classrooms. After that, and shortly after that, they shut down their residence halls and literally asked their students to go home and study from their place of residence at home as opposed to at the university. And then thirdly, many have encountered some furloughs and otherwise faculty and staff and administrators are largely also working remotely, telecommuting from home, and only skeleton crews are still left at America's universities today. I believe that university enrollments in America at America's Tier 1 Power 5 football conference universities will largely be level this year. Now, in recent years, those have been growing, and there are a couple of factors in this COVID environment that may slow that down just a bit, and those would include freshmen. I think the freshman class may be slightly smaller. That could result from students taking a gap year in this environment and others staying closer to home, maybe enrolling in a community college. Those are the two reasons that the freshman class might be impacted. Next would be international students, and there will be a slight downtick in international students. Some will have a difficulty getting a visa and getting into the country, and these would be first-time students. So they would be freshman international students, they'd be graduate international students for their first enrollment, and they also could be English as a second language students, as well as exchange programs, going both ways. Students in America who are going to study abroad this fall are likely to stay here. Those that were likely to come here are likely not to come here. So there'll be a slight decline in international students. I think there'll be an offset, however, by an increase in domestic graduate students, students graduating this spring who can't get a job and decide to continue their education in graduate school. Now, in terms of university operations in the fall, several things. First of all, as many as 120 university presidents thus far have already declared they will have in-class instruction in the fall. They're opening their campuses back up. I expect that trend will continue, but there may be some regional exceptions. You could see some exceptions in very urban metropolitan areas, but by and large, America's universities, I expect, will be open. Many will operate under a hybrid format. And the hybrid format means that there will be plenty of on-campus in-class instruction, but there also will still be some online courses. That will still mean that America's students will want to go to college and be at college, so you can look for that in the fall as well. Well, in the current environment, I would say that rent collections have been surprisingly robust. They've been in the mid 95% of scheduled rent industry-wide, and that's for both March, April, and May. So for all 3 months, of course, April and May after the escalation of the virus. So very strong, only down a couple of percent from last year, same store, same month. So that's really good news, and largely it's been on par or even stronger than conventional multifamily. Most of the residents living on campus have in fact gone home because that's what their universities asked them to do. Conversely, it's been confusing for those living off campus because they see their on-campus counterparts being asked to leave. But most of those living in student apartments don't want to leave. And in fact, in April, we did a survey and found 61% of our residents had stayed at the property, and 39% had intentions of leaving or had left. Now, move forward 1 month further, and in the month of May, 70% of our students are living at our property. So literally 9% went home and have come back. And so I think that's showing strongly that upperclassmen, that sophomores, juniors, seniors, graduate students, they want to be at campus. They want to be in their college community, and generally they don't really want to be at home. I think that will portend well for next semester as well for students coming to their college communities to live. Pre-leasing is going very well given this COVID environment. we are, as an industry, somewhere between 7 and 10% pre-leasing behind. So mid-60s pre-leasing as compared to low 70s, let's say, last year. Not surprisingly that some students or their parents would defer a decision, in this environment. But what we do expect, given that, is that with most universities announcing they will be open in the fall, this is going to be a robust summer leasing season, going to be very busy. We're planning to staff up to accommodate the volume of traffic we expect to try to lease at the last minute in July, in August. It may even carry over to September. But at the end of the day, when you add the fact that most universities are also closing residence halls that are not social distance friendly, and those are ones with large-scale gang-type bathrooms, by way of example, and we're hearing that somewhere between 20% and 50% of last year's bed capacity on campus will not have students this coming fall. Those students are going to need a place to go, and they're going to go off campus. So I think that occupancies this fall will be higher than they've been in the last couple of years as students get displaced off campus from being on campus. The outlook for 2021, right now, the optics are not clear. Still trying to figure out, are the universities going to be open? Are all of them or most of them going to be open? Are their residence halls going to be open or not? Are classes going to be online or are they going to be in person? And are the students going to show up and put heads on beds, as they say in our business? Now, those are the optics that need clarity. But I believe with the trends that we're seeing, that the outcome is going to be that we'll have higher occupancies this fall than we had last year and the year before. So it will be a stronger student housing market. We'll have had great collections that will have proven the validity of parental guarantees in assuring that rents get collected in student housing. And I think the adage that student housing is a recession-resistant asset class will be doubled down, will be doubly proven with the response and how it performed in this COVID environment. Therefore, my forecast is when it performs better in the middle of a COVID environment, with universities closed down, that's only going to prove its long-term recession resiliency. And I think it's going to make investors want to come into the space even more. I think it'll return to pre-COVID environment cap rates. And I think that the fact that we'll be in a recession will make investors want to gravitate towards recession-resistant asset classes disproportionately. The outlook is going to be strong for student housing. It's looking good.